A popular high life song by Dr. Sawario asked one famous question, which is, Onye na-enweghị ego, ga-eri Ofe Owerri, which means, if a man does not have money, does he deserve to eat Ofe Owerri? That question alone tells you everything you need to know. Ofe Owerri is not just soup, it is a statement. And today I'm going to tell you why Ofe Owerri is famously called the soup of the rich.
The way the Owerri people make this soup, you can never see it any other place.
Ofe Owerri simply means Owerri soup. It is an indigenous vegetable soup of the Owerri people of Imo State, Nigeria. Their birthmark dish passed down through generations. But this soup is more than food. It represents honor, hospitality, and social standing.
When they have occasion in Owerri land, people used to come for that occasion because they're expecting to eat Ofe Owerri. Because it's not a common soup.
It is not something you cook casually. Traditionally, it is reserved for a visiting husband, an honored guest, major festivals, or important family celebrations.
The taste of this food is heavenly. And as you can see, there's no space inside the soup.
Once Ofe Owerri enters the kitchen, everyone knows something important is happening.
So why is it called the soup for the rich?
This is because nothing about Ofe Owerri is cheap. This is a soup that demands serious protein, large snails, premium stock fish, smoked fish, assorted meats, quality palm oil, and properly fermented ogiri. Back in the day, once this soup entered the pot, the entire neighborhood already knew you had arrived. But beyond wealth and status, Ofe Owerri also carried deep nutritional and medicinal value, something many people don't talk about.
My brother, thank you for bringing me here.
Traditionally, the oziza leaf some people use in cooking their soup is believed to help protect the liver from toxins and aid digestion. In simple terms, Ofe Owerri was doing detox before detox became fashionable.
So when there is an occasion in Owerri, people, even the ones that they did not invite, will come for the occasion because they want to eat Ofe Owerri. Yes.
The combination of ogo and okazi leaves provides vitamin A and C, iron, and antioxidant. Ugu especially is traditionally used as a blood tonic, believed to help with anemia and immune support. In plain language, eat Ofe Owerri so you will have blood.
Wow.
How do you see the soup?
My brother. Hi.
Then there is ogiri, a fermented oil bean seasoning valued as a rich source of protein and essential amino acid. That means you are getting protein not just from the meat used in preparing the soup, but also from the ogiri. The cocoyam thickener provides carbohydrate for energy, while the bones in the assorted meat contribute calcium for strong bones.
This soup is so important that the Owerri people gave it their name.
Now, this is where the argument begins. There is an ongoing debate about how Ofe Owerri should be prepared. One group insists it must contain ogo and okazi. Another group argue it should be oziza and oha. Some even say that without oziza, it is no longer Ofe Owerri or ordinary vegetable soup. Many Owerri idijis also insist that onions and artificial seasoning should never be used.
There is no artificial ingredients they use to make this soup.
Everything
is natural. Yes.
Okay.
Everything is natural. There is no artificial ingredients.
According to them, once you add seasoning, it means you are still learning how to cook the soup. Authentic flavor, they argue, must come purely from ogiri, dry fish, palm oil, and patience.
This soup is just a taste of goodness. It tastes rich. Okay? The vegetables, the proteins, everything just combined to give this a very luxurious taste in the mouth.
The thickener also causes disagreement. Traditionally, red cocoyam known as eduhi was used and pounded manually. Today, some modern cooks use achi, some even use cornstarch, and they use blenders to blend it. Traditionalists insist that pounding cocoyam by hand preserves the soul of the soup, while modern cooks prefer convenience. There's also the zero water debate. Authentic preparation involves steaming the meat without adding water, allowing it to release and reabsorb its own juice. Traditionalists believe this method has been lost in fast food versions of Ofe Owerri and that something important was lost with it. Now here is something that might shock you. Traditionally, Ofe Owerri was not served to everyone in the household. In some Owerri communities, small children, pregnant women, and people recovering from illnesses were either given small portions or not allowed to eat at all. Why? Because the soup was considered too heavy, too oily, and too hot. The combination of pepper, ogiri, and palm oil was believed to overwhelm weak stomach and cause discomfort. There was also serious caution around cocoyam. If not properly cooked, cocoyam contains calcium oxalate crystals that can cause intense itching or burning in the mouth and throat. That is why traditionally, cocoyam was fully boiled until very soft, peeled carefully, pounded smoothly, and cooked very well in the soup. This wasn't superstition, it was ancestral food science. In traditional Owerri society, food was not just about eating, it was about what a man could provide. Serving Ofe Owerre to a man was a statement. It meant this man was valued, capable, and established, an odogu. A household that could cook Ofe Owerre regularly was seen as well-to-do, and a man who ate it often was assumed to be doing well in life. Nobody said it out loud, but everybody understood. This mindset extended into marriage culture. During bride price visits, family introduction, and post-marriage celebration, the soup that was served mattered. In Owerri traditional marriages, a well-prepared Ofe Owerre was used to impress in-laws and validate the union between families. When Ofe Owerre appeared, it sent a clear message: this marriage is serious. Women were often judged by how well they cooked it, while men were judged by whether they could provide the ingredients. Food became a measure of readiness and responsibility. The reason Ofe Owerre carries such weight is because its ingredients were not always easy to obtain. Snails were seasonal. Stockfish came through long trade routes. Palm oil required intense labor before machines existed. Ogiri needed time, skill, and experience to ferment properly. Every ingredient had a cost in money, labor, or time. That is why the soup became associated with wealth, not because it was flashy, but because it demanded effort. One of the most powerful things about Ofe Owerre is the ancestral knowledge embedded in it. The elders did not explain everything. They simply said, don't rush the cooking, don't add certain things, and understand that this soup is not for everyone. Young people were expected to observe, not question. Today, recipes are everywhere online, but the silent wisdom behind them is slowly disappearing. Ofe Owerre reminds us that traditional food carried unspoken knowledge, not just ingredients. Serving Ofe Owerre was also seen as an act of respect. It was reserved for elders, honored guests, visiting husbands, and important gatherings. Refusing it when offered could even be seen as disrespectful, not because of hunger, but because of what the soup represented. And before it was seen, it was smelled. The aroma of the palm oil, ogiri, and pepper traveled beyond the kitchen. In close-knit communities, that smell alone announced that a guest had arrived, a celebration was happening, or a household was doing well. Despite its richness, Ofe Owerre was never meant to be eaten in excess. Portions were deliberately controlled. The elders believed that too much indulgence showed a lack of discipline. Wisdom, they believed, was shown in restraint. Give a man Ofe Owerre and watch how he eats. That was how you knew a wise man. The soup is also deeply connected to the Oru Owerre, also known as the Orueze festival, which commemorates the founding of Owerri by Ekwem Arugbo. Held between June and August, this festival is sometimes described as a traditional Christmas, and Ofe Owerre stands as the centerpiece meal for age-grade celebration and family reunions. While corn porridge marks the opening of the new calendar, Ofe Owerre sustains the celebration through the grand finale. Today, the soup is gaining renewed recognition. The Ofe Owerre Food and Drink Festival, which debuted in January 2026, aims to position the soup as a national landmark and a tourism asset, using food as a tool of cultural diplomacy. The preparation style of Ofe Owerre differs across Owerri Municipal, Owerri North, and Owerri West. Some emphasize snails, others focus on cocoyam texture, but the soul of the soup remains unchanged. And if you are ever in Owerri and wondering where to find authentic ingredients, a Kuku Owerri market remains the heart of the trade. Ofe Owerre is not just something you eat, it is something you inherit. It carries wealth, restraint, respect, memory, and identity in one pot.
If you love this video, like, share, and subscribe. I will be bringing to you wonderful food content like this. And always remember, eat to live while I live to eat. I am Mr. Epic, and I will see you on the next video.